Hello, this video is Educational System Change the Educational System Part 3. The last one I talked about like competition. It should be all student-based competition, only test-based, not make it so that the teachers can give you a bad grade just because they don't like you, and which happens. I mean, I could go on for examples forever about teachers giving me bad grades. Like I got a D in a class because I got the D in the final paper because I did my bibliography out of the Kate Turabian book when the teacher had their own little way to do the bibliography. It was fucked up. But anyways, fractal. It should be fractal. It should be holographic. It should mimic the ways of the universe, the pattern of the universe. Meaning to say that kids in school, it should be kind of like a little representation of how the world and at large works. And it is like that, and so far as you have the class president and class secretary and class officers, and in the real world you have the president and all that stuff. But it should be taken even farther, in that in the real world you would have like well, not in the real world, but like in the real world amongst like intelligent people or politically active people, trying to make kids politically active. They're like, I stand on this issue on this, I stand here on this. So it should be part of school to have kids have a stance on every single issue, and then be actively involved in preaching their issue and trying to get others to agree with them, and have debates on all of the political and philosophical issues in school, so that when they graduate, they're active citizens of society, and when they open up the newspaper, they don't go straight to like the sports or entertainment section, but they go to the political section, and they be like, oh, this is what they're doing, this is how I differs from what I do, and this is what I'm going to vote on, and also on the percentages of your school. Like if in your country at large you have 57% of the people think that abortion should be illegal, or should be legal, say, well, then you would know what that percentage is in your school about all the political issues and philosophical issues, so you know where your school stands exactly, not just from rumor or oh, they did a poll last week and but like you always know constantly where your school stands compared to the rest of America or your country, and also how the trends are changing. Like over the last 5 years, our school has become more and more hawkish or something like that, and have it up on the board all the time, like, and then and I would say, this is probably asking a lot, but I would say even have up on the board like all the people's names and what they stand for and what they believe, which would help analyzation of it just help intelligence. No, I know people are going to be into that. Oh, my privacy, but maybe in the future, later on in the future, that would be cool. Or at least allow people to volunteer that information, and the people who volunteer their information get to be like the people who volunteer their information. It's like extra cool. Maybe it'll help you get into a college better or something like that if you do that. Because what we want to do at the end of the day is sharing. And the more that happens, the more open and society is, and the more connected we all are. So, and also, yeah, basically like interconnected all, like, like in the real world, somebody writes a book, and you can get it up at the bookstore, and they talk about their book. Well, they should have the same thing in school. Like you'd have, you know, like you have all these different channels in the real world, like 50 channels. We'll have 50 channels in the school. And, you know, a kid writes a paper and they want to, in the paper, like, there's a popular paper in the school, or it says something new, or they want to promote it, they can get up on the school channel and get interviewed by one of the school interviewers and talk about their paper, and then in their study or whatever, and then put it up on the wall, like notification, come to my website and check it out or something. You know what I mean? Macrocosm of the microcosm, so that when people graduate and go into the world, it's basically the same thing as school, only even bigger. Instead of how it is now, where I went to school, where you just sitting down and basically drooling and passing out because some guy up there is talking some kind of bullshit, basically reading out of a textbook that he didn't write, that somebody wrote, and you don't even know who wrote it, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just a whole bunch of confusion, a whole bunch of hidden bullshit. You know, like I took a test, I took the SAT, and there's no, it's like being, you have to be a private detective in order to find out what your SAT score is, so. But that's one of my life goals, is to find out what my SAT score was. But it should be just easy to find that stuff. So anyways, the fractal hologram, it should be a holographic. And so there it is, that's my series. The first most important thing is student-based, and grades based on tests, and your website, you know, stuff that you've created. 2, competition, based on how you do, you know, tests and competition. Also debates or whatever, judged by other students, peer judged, kind of like how American Idol is. And then 3, holographic, everything mimicking how it is out there in the world, with having everything, you know, TV shows, TV channels, your paper can be like a book, you know, knowing where you're standing, political issues, arguing and stuff. Kind of brings me to the idea of, reminds me of, I remember a couple years ago there were some politicians in some country and they were arguing or something, and they ended up getting in a fist fight, like in the parliament, you know. Like that would never happen if people have been arguing and just, that was just how their life is to argue, and it's just natural. You don't get upset just because somebody like is beating you in the political debate or something like that. So anyways, that's that. Catch you later.